There we are. And we're live on Facebook. Hi, everybody. We are expecting at least one or two more that might be joining us. So they might just be coming in the middle. And that's fine too. That's what we like about going live and not having a total plan for this. So that we just keep it interesting. Right, Gabe?
Always interesting.
Always interesting. Never know what or who you're going to get on Tea Time. So you got Amanda, me and Gabe so far. And by the end of it, Andrea might be joining us. You never know if Kim's going to come in. So we know Tom's not coming in today. He told us last week he's going to be out. So we miss Tom, but we'll give you some good recommendations. Got some good announcements for everybody. I'm having one of those like horrible, the humidity hair day. It's just like, oh my God, it's not long enough for me to put it in a ponytail, and it's just like out of control. So those are
Tell me about
woes. Those are, oh, you got some problems with yours, huh, Gabe? You got humidity hair?
You know, mock if you will, but I still got some semblance of hair up there.
It's just not showing up very much today. But anyways.
It doesn't show up on Zoom very, clearly. So. The lighting. You got the lightings going bad. So we're going to give you some good new recommendations for what's either coming out tomorrow or some just stuff that we like and some good announcements. So we're going to start off with Amanda. So you can start us off. Make sure you take yourself off mute.
All right. I am talking about this one a little bit early. It comes out on August 10th. This was a book that it became one of the Indies Introduce titles for the season. And it is Mrs. March by Virginia V. Fito. Have you read this yet, Julie?
No, but it's on my list. I want to get to it.
I think you would like this one.
I know.
It's pretty fantastic. I'm not usually a horror person, but this is psychological horror. I could not put it down. The main character, she's such a train wreck, and I totally felt the empathy with that to my core. So in a nutshell, the story starts, Mrs. March, her husband is a very successful novelist, and she's a very dutiful housewife. And then someone makes an offhand remark that implicates that the main character in his latest novel, who's pretty disreputable, was based upon Mrs. March. So she just spins into this cycle of questioning everything about her life and her husband. And it is such a train wreck, and I could not look away. This book has already been picked up to be made into a film by Elizabeth Moss, who's also going to play the main part. And I think this would be a great choice for book clubs. So again, that's Mrs. March, comes out on the 10th of August.
I'm going to let Andrea is coming in hot here. So I want to talk about that really quick though, while I let Andrea in. So that was an Indies Introduced. Did it make the list?
Yep, it's on the list. It's,
okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, that's super
cool. It's very Hitchcock.
But is it set in a certain time period too? Is it a time period? Is it a period piece in the horror?
It's actually interesting. That's one of the most interesting things about it. It's sort of timeless. It feels contemporary, but it also feels like it could be.
Okay, I think I remember hearing, because I saw an interview with her, and so I think that's right. I think I'm remembering that it's like you can't really pin down when it is.
Yeah, it's very cleverly done and
super cool. No, I might have to bubble that up. I might have to bubble that up a little bit. Oh,
I think you would like it.
You know me. Andrea!
Woo!
You made it!
Sorry.
No, we're so glad
I'm
you're
having
here.
serious Okay, great. I'm having serious internet connection issues today.
Okay.
I know that that's no surprise in the new reality, but
all
anyway.
right. Well, you'll go after
Sorry.
Gabe. So we're going to let Gabe go. And Amanda started. Gabe's going next, and then you'll be after him.
Okay, sounds good.
Guess it's humid in Bishop as well.
We got the...
So cold.
Yeah.
So cold.
Ouch. Ouch. That year. It's like, I was not even gonna say.
I had to. I couldn't not.
Damn, Gabe.
So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show y'all what I have as my first book, something really interesting. James Redbank's Pastoral Song. This is on sale tomorrow. I'm trying to remember what day it is today. It's Monday.
I know.
Even though I know we do this Monday at 4. But James Redbanks wrote a really surprising book called The Shepherd's Life a few years ago that garnered all sorts of great literary attention. And I was not aware of that. I went out to sell this book and I read the manuscript and I thought, well, I have a thing for these pastoral books, these people who go off and start garlic farming or something. So I really had to pick this up right away. And he's just a terrific writer. And he is a person who is of the land. He's a Brit. He's of the land and he writes about the land. And right now his concern is the sustainability of our environment and farming. And he's getting some really good coverage. It's read something recently and I think the headline was something like, is farming sustainable in America the way it's going right now? So he brings up a lot of questions like that, along with really incredible writing. His previous book, The Shepherd's Life, was an epiphany to me. It was something brand new. I hadn't heard about it, but when I went in to sell this book, everybody was well aware of The Shepherd's Life because it had sold so well. So don't discount this guy. He definitely can write. Like I said, the reviews are in, I think, the New York Times, Washington Post. There was a good list of media attention that I was noticing today. I got a big, like, full page of attention this book is getting. So got these cool something bell cows on the cover. But terrific book, terrific writing. And it's not one of those that's going to beat you over your head about the environment being on the verge of collapse. It is, Pastoral Song really, that title really speaks to what he's talking about. I think it's, and the lyricism of the language and what he does. So really excited. International author. He's published around, in a lot of places around the world. And the reviewers, I love the first book, love The Shepherd's Life and their loving pastoral song. So I am honored to bring you this special book that will.
So this is more of an appreciation and a love song to it, more than a beating you over the head about what you have to do.
I mean, you get the facts,
right?
You do get the facts. There's a lot of that as well.
Right.
It's very realistic. But the thing is, when you have really great writing like that and really lyrical writing, and, poetic writing, I was surprised by the level of the writing on this book. Honestly, you see a lot of things, a lot of memoirs, and stories are interesting, and concepts are interesting, and can they pull through every time? Right. It doesn't always happen.
Right. That keeps your attention too, because that's the thing too. It's just like, because sometimes you get beat over the head too much. It's like, do I really need to read this? So
and you learn stuff. He has these just there's these things that you just don't know that further connect us. So it's great.
Cool. All right, Andrea, what do you got for us for your first choice?
Hey, thanks. Can you see that cover?
Yep.
That's the cover for The Constitution of Knowledge, A Defense of Truth. And this is by Jonathan Rauch. And this came out in late June. But it's a very important title that's getting a ton of publicity. I mean, if you look at the publicity sheets that we're getting in emails, it's like this long with like stacks of who's, reviewing, like a whole lineup of who's reviewing the book, where Jonathan Rauch, the author, is going to appear, et cetera, et cetera. And so, and we're pretty excited about how it's all coming together. This is from Brookings Institute Press. It's $27.99 as a hardcover. And it deals with, the groundwork. Let's set the groundwork. Disinformation, trolling online, conspiracies, social media pileups, campus intolerance. Basically, on the surface, this stuff looks unrelated, but the author shows that together all of these crises, or all of these, crises, all of these events are driving a crises, and it's a multi-front challenge really to America's ability to distinguish fact from fiction, and to elevate truth over falsehood. So the author here presents a set of checks and balances, which we can use to weigh our beliefs against like the reality and truth, and at least the truth that we can all agree on, which is harder and harder to do at this point, as we all know. And it also addresses ways to end this current era of disinformation. It's really balanced, and does find critics on both sides of the aisle that agree with the arguments here. And I'm going to read you let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to read you a great quote. I don't know. Let me see. I'm going to have to pull it up on my screen. A great quote from Neil Stevenson, author of Snow Crash and Fall, and a few other great novels. And he says, the ability to talk in good faith about a shared reality is a foundational element of civics that we didn't know we had until we suddenly and surprisingly lost it. Jonathan Rauch explains how we got it in the first place and how we are now letting it slip away. His telling of the story is well grounded in history and philosophy, as well as in the very latest dispatches from the meme wars. Readers will come away from the Constitution of Knowledge not just concerned about the mess we're in, but also with new ideas on how we might dig ourselves out of it. So once again, that is The Constitution of Knowledge, A Defense of Truth, and that's by Jonathan Rauch. It's $27.99, and it's out now from Brookings Institute.
Sounds really good. Sounds very timely and needed.
Yeah.
You know, because it is one of those things where with the internet and with 24-hour news cycles and all of that stuff, it's like, I don't know how you break that. It's a wieldy kind of thing. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on and what side of the truth meter that you're on. It's a beast that has a life of its own. And so, because there's disinformation on all sides of things. So it's a scary one.
Filling up that 24-hour cycle, man. You know, it's just, you got to have something.
Well,
you got to have something. So you got to just fill it with content. And, you know, you watch those channels, whether it be left or right.
Right.
The 6 o'clock show is repeating a lot of what the 5 o'clock show said, and the 7 o'clock show is repeating what the 6 and the 5 o'clock show
well,
said.
And it's all, I mean, it used to be back in the day when they only did the news, the news on TV was only like 2 or 3 times a day. They had like those other hours to verify their stories. Now everything is, quote, breaking news, and they don't verify anything anymore because they want to be the first ones with that story out. So
yeah, it's not really journalism anymore. I mean, it's, you know, they're reading a lot of press releases and going on, you know,
they go on the internet and troll stuff, because I see stuff on the internet and then like, 2 days later, I'll see it on the news, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I digress.
Well, I mean, it is a big problem, and it's a threat to our democracy. It's really clear, because if you have a consensus about what reality is, you're in a world of hurt, and that's where we are right now.
And the fact that we don't teach civics anymore in school is another huge problem. But that's,
you know what? I think that's BS, because honestly, I remember we had civics, and it was so hard for the average kid. It was the most, in my experience watching it in my area of public and private schools, that was the most repeated class in summer school was civics, because nobody could understand. Then you just run through it in 6 weeks, everybody gets a B or a C, and you're done with civics.
I mean, that's a bad teacher, though. I'm sorry, those are bad teachers, because it's just like you gotta know how this country works. You gotta know how government works. I don't know.
Well, I also think
if you stop teaching it, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, logic should be taught beginning in elementary school.
I was about to say, logic was actually the class that most opened up my mind to being manipulated.
Yeah. Yeah, I think logic should be taught. Just the basics, the elements of logic can really help you, find your way out of a dark paper sack.
All right, we got to get back to book recommendations. We could have a civics lesson here all day. We're probably losing followers as we're going. It's like, I thought this was a book recommendation page.
That's what's wrong with this country today.
We need to read books. Here we go.
Get off my lawn.
Just read what we want. Okay, drum roll, please. Here's my big announcement for everybody. And we've got Anthony Doerr coming to you. Who's that? Gabe Bareilles. I'm gonna slap you next time I see you.
He's having trouble with humidity too, Gabe.
So we just announced yesterday that we will be hosting Anthony for a live event at the University of San Diego Shiley's Theater. We are super excited to have him come into San Diego. I read Cloud Cuckoo Land maybe 2 months ago. Gonna be really hard to pick a book that's better than this that's coming out this year. This thing is, it lives up to the hype. It is so unbelievably good. I can't speak to it highly enough. So while we're all about the pre-order of the book, and it does come out, I think in September sometime, if you're in San Diego, we would love for you to join us at the event and you get a copy of the book. And rumor has it there might be some signed ones. We're going to find out what we're going to do about that for the signed copies. But anyways, Anthony Doerr, he's just a great guy. We hosted him for, I think it was a hardcover or the paperback of All the Light You Cannot See, but he's just a fantastic guy. It's going to be a great night. So, and we're going to keep all the, whatever the CDC guidelines are at the time, we will be keeping up with those. So if it turns out that we can't do it live, we'll do it virtually. So anyway, we'll make it happen for you to be able to see Anthony in person safely. So that's
very cool.
Announcement. Yeah.
Very cool. I hear the book's terrific. I got it by my bed.
It is really good. I mean, it's one of those, it's big and it's 500-600 pages, I think, somewhere around that. And so it took me a good 75 pages to go, oh, this is what we're doing. So it wasn't one of those that you just picked up and went from page one and went, oh, this is fantastic. But you get, and I kind of know that anytime you're going to get into a 500 or 600 page book, you got to know that it's going to take
let it roll.
Bit. You got to let it roll a little bit. And this one blew me away. I haven't felt the way that I felt after I finished a book in a long time after I finished that one. It was amazing.
He's a master. He's a
very good. He's a wordsmith that is just, he's unbelievable. So anywho, there we go. Okay, Amanda, what's your next one?
I don't know. I was hooked from the...
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man. And this is the kind of book at least for me, I finished it. I was just in a daze.
I was too.
What just happened?
Yeah.
I can't even believe someone can write something like this.
But it was a euphoric feeling. It wasn't it wasn't a confused daze feeling. It was just sort of like this. Oh my God, I just read a great book. I
feel like I just existed in this universe. And it's amazing. Yeah, it's definitely one of my best reads of the year so far.
Yeah,
we have a lot of people in the comments with lots of love for recent recommendations, by the way.
Oh yay! I'll look at those. You give us our next thing, and I'll look at the comments coming.
Okay, good. I want to mention this is another one that I'm a little bit early on, but it comes out on August 3rd. This is Radiant Fugitives by Nawaz Ahmed, and this was one book that was nominated for Indies Introduced, and it didn't quite make the final cut, but it's really something. And there was a lot of there were some disappointed people on the panel because of the fact that it didn't quite make it for various reasons, but that it does not diminish this book in any way. So it's a story about that. It follows 3 generations of a Muslim Indian family living in Obama era San Francisco and Texas. And it's told from the point of view of a baby in the womb at the moment of its birth. So it plays a lot with time and perspectives. but is always in this child's voice, which it's not a child's voice, but it's a very interesting device, and it's very gorgeously written. So this is another one I think that would be really good for book clubs. And that's Radiant Fugitives from Counterpoint, and it comes out on August 3rd.
Cool. Beth, I think Amanda, I think I was looking at the comments, and hold on, I saw one from Beth that was it Gabe's pick? And Now I Spill the Family Secrets. Was that yours, Gabe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in the middle of that now. She's loving it.
Good. That's the graphic novel, the graphic memoir. Okay. Black and white.
And then,
all right. And then
Barbara and Sarita were both into Kim picks, Suburban Dicks and Nowhere Girl.
Yeah, those were Tom's picks.
Beth
and then
mentioned she got The Colors We Share based on Andrea's recommendation. Great book. There's even a mirror in it. I think kids will love it, but it's pretty cool for adults too.
That's the one book that I had I was thinking about that book over the weekend, especially like watching the Olympics. I don't know why I was thinking about that book when I was watching the Olympics. I was like, thinking about
because people. It's a small world, Julie.
It's a small world, Andrea. Didn't we do this about another book last year? I'm recalling this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm having some deja vu on something, I think, maybe.
Hey, Beth, thanks so much for picking that book up. I do agree with you that adult collectors of children's books will also like it. I think artists will be into it because of the whole Pantone color scheme element throughout. So thanks a lot. I think it's a very important book, and I hope that other people will also pick that up at Warwick's.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Gabe, what's your second selection for us?
Going with an old favorite. We talked about his book last year, and we're going to talk about his new book this year, Glenn Eric Hamilton and Island Thieves. Glenn is one of my favorite, just, badass, lone, ex-military dude going in and fixing things and kicking ass and getting out alive. This book is a little different. I actually really like this book. It was more of a little bit of he gets set up. He gets hired to run security for an art show. And all of a sudden things start going wrong, and everything that is gone wrong starts pointing to him. So he's got to get himself out of this bind. So it's a little bit Lupin-ish for those who've been watching Lupin on Netflix. So it's a lot of fun. He is always a lot of fun. He writes a rip-roaring page turner. He has a lot of twists and turns. They're more thriller, suspense than mystery, but there's always a good solid mystery that's got to be resolved, or issue that's got to be resolved, that he does always very satisfactorily, in a very satisfactory manner. And I'm always excited for the next Glenn Eric Hamilton book. We've got Publishers Weekly gave it a starred review, and we got a quick blurb there from Lee Child. But it's for the Lee Child audience. I think people who like the lone, the Spencer books, the Travis McGee books from John D. McDonald, definitely the Lee Child. People like that, you're going to love Glenn Eric Hamilton if you haven't read him. A lot of work in paperback, a lot of books in paperback, so plenty of stuff to catch up with if you don't want to invest the $27. But a lot of fun, so I always recommend him. Local Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a local, he's a SoCal guy. Great guy, super nice guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, we had him down at the store a couple years ago. And he just is, and that's the thing with those kind of books. It's like people who read those kind of books, they go through them so quickly that it's like, it's always nice to find somebody new. So exactly. If you're not familiar with him, he's a solid read.
You have a good backlist, you can go right back and catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
He did that, he did a special edition coffee with us, yes. Didn't he?
Yep.
Right, with Buyer.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do we want to mention that real quick, Julie?
I'll do that after.
Cool.
I'll do it after. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Andrea, let's go with you.
Hey, thanks for that, Rick. I'm really excited about that, Gabe. Lupin, we have actually speaking of the Netflix hit, we have a book, the original Gentleman Thief, Lupin edition in one of our classics lines. So that's pretty cool. I think we're going to see a lot of people coming to that. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to share my screen and talk about an August Indie Next pick, if I can find which screen. Look at all this stuff that's up. Is this it? Yes.
Be careful. Be careful what you're sharing.
Exactly.
Oh, well, you know, listen, I have nothing untoward on my screens, darlings. Okay, so look at this great cover, y'all.
Great cover.
Can you see that? Yeah, The Hunter and the Old Woman by Pamela Korgamagi. And this comes from House of Anansi, one of our great literary presses from above the border in Canada. And this is $18.99 trade paperback, so it's a great deal. It's on the August Indie Next bestsellers list that booksellers from all over, indie booksellers from all over the country, including Warwick's, choose these books each month. And so this is one of the picks to click for August. And we're pretty excited about it. Michael Redhill, who is the author of Bellevue Square, wrote an amazing blurb for this before it came out. And I feel like it explains exactly what this book is. So I'm not even going to try to explain it. The Old Woman of Pamela Korgamagi's hypnotically gripping novel is a North American cougar, and its persona is a creative achievement unknown in literature. That's pretty amazing, right? Korgamagi completely inhabits her alien protagonist, the cougar, convincing us not what a cougar is like, but what it is like to be a cougar. The story's hunter is human, and his development from child to adult is revealed in step with the animals until their lives finally intersect. It is a novel of rare empathy and insight that gives a convincing portrayal of life spent in the wild and what it is like to be alive with and without the familiar human awareness of self and time. So this works on a lot of different levels. I think it's a great book for people who are interested in the experience of the other, of animals. And it's completely believable. It is an early rep in-house fave. A lot of my colleagues and myself really love this book. And I think it's firing on all cylinders with that gorgeous cover. I mean, you know, people are going to pick this up. And it's a nice price, $18.99 trade paper. It's a paperback original. And that's from House of Anansi, Pamela Korgamagi. And that's, it's shipping now. There was no date embargo. It's an August 3rd publication, but it's on shelves.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really, you want to stop your screen share?
Oh yes, I guess I should do that. Let me see.
we want to see all us pretty folks again, right?
Yeah.
With our humidity here.
Oh God, if I can do it, I'm having some issues.
All right, up at the top of your screen. Maybe.
All the way at the top?
Yeah.
We're just going to look at Andrea's book the whole
time.
How many Edelweiss screens you got open, girl? Good Lord.
We've got a few things going on right now.
She's busy. She's got stuff happening.
I've got a few things going on right now, okay?
All right. I'll talk about more events at the end, so we'll go right into our lightning round. So, Amanda, what do you got for us for lightning? Nothing? Look at her. Nothing.
She's muted.
I want to talk about Cougar Land again. Yeah. I just, please everyone think about joining us for the event. That this book truly will blow you away. Kind of wanted to share your blurb, Julie.
Oh, is it written on there? Wait.
It's not on the book.
Oh, but it's in Edelweiss.
It's in the it's in the
Look, see, Gabe's got to put yours up again, Amanda. Put yours up again. We're gonna take a screenshot. Screenshot. Good. I wish I had mine. There we go. I'm not kidding. This is a great book.
Yeah, it's incredible. So let's see. Julie said, and this is why we read. I haven't felt this hopeful and alive after closing a book in a very long time. What does it mean to be alive? An ageless question, and throughout time, the answer is always human connection and the stories we tell to live thrive, survive. This book is a marvel, and Anthony Doerr is simply a genius. Very well put.
God, I write a good blurb, don't I?
That's a good blurb. And
come on, Gabe, give me some.
Just
who wrote that for you?
Oh my gosh, ghost.
Everybody, my tongue
came out of this brain.
He is. He's in a mood today. Everybody, look out!
I know, I like it. Spicy.
I'm wearing red today. It's one of my colors, so look out! I'm feeling sassy. And saucy.
Wow! I love it. Poor Anthony. Whoa! He's bringing the claws out too. Bring your cover back.
He doesn't need my help. I shouldn't have been flashing it. He don't need my help.
But you know what? I mean, but I think that some people, it's just like, because here's the deal though. And I will be honest, when I first saw the book and I saw the cover and I got the title, I was just like, oh, am I going to want to read this? But then it's like, it's Anthony Doerr. So of course you do, but it's,
What's really sweet is that it's dedicated to the librarians then, now, and in the years to come. So this is a book for book lovers.
Yeah.
And the way he plotted it, like, I can't wait for everyone to hear more about how he wrote this book. It's just incredible. So
genius,
again, October 1st, Anthony Doerr.
At our doors. All right, Gabe, what do you got for?
I'm going to finish up in a very lightning way, and we're going to finish up with one of my favorites. And there's a story to this, guys. We have an author named Dennis Lehane at Harper, who was at William Morrow before we came along and bought Morrow back in '99. So we've been publishing Dennis forever between Morrow and Harper. My friend Adrian, back a long zillion years ago, the head book buyer at Warwick's, recommended A Drink Before the War. You got to read it. You got to read it. Dennis Lehane. You got to read Dennis Lehane. This was before we had bought Morrow. So it was mid-90s. And it was a book that was published by HBJ, Harco Brace-Jovanovich, who had a little bit of a store and a space in San Diego for a good while. They got bought out by somebody. Anyways, his editor, Claire Wachtel, was at Morrow and loved it. She was his editor. Libet kind of brought out at the whatever and brought him over to us. So I've been reading him forever. And so we're repackaging the backlist. Do yourself a favor. It's been a long time. I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't read Dennis Lehane. But his Pat and Angie books are really, really strong. And he wrote Mystic River. And I remember sitting in the room when Mystic River was published after Prayers for Rain, which was a Pat and Angie book. And then it was one of those conversations that was like a half hour of sales conference time. And everybody knew we had a huge book on our hands just by the energy and the reads. And sure enough, it was a monster book. But go back and read him. We got a lot of backlists. It's all available in paperback. You like a good mystery. You like a good character-driven novels. He's terrific. And then he's written these other big things that are more big, fat, historical, epic history kind of things set in around Boston, and another one in Havana, Cuba that they made a movie of. So he's just, he's a real talent. Wrote for The Wire. I think he's in Hollywood now, probably working on scripts and cleaning things up and stuff like that. But
I love the repackaging. They look really good. Really,
yeah,
cool.
real thought. We're thoughtful. He's a Harper Morrow author, and we take care of our own.
Shutter Island was my favorite. I love Shutter Island. But I loved all of the ones, the Boston ones too. Those were really
the
good.
Pat and Angie books were. Got him going. It really got him going. But
yeah.
So it's you get a nice mix. You get that really smaller, more focal, 2-character driven novel, and with a lot of action, and then you got like the big epic things.
He wrote Shutter Island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was after Mystic.
After Mystic River, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's super twisty. Love it. Okay, Andrew, what do you got to close us with?
All right, I'm going to share my screen again.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, I am. I am this time. This is the Seashore Adventure Activity book. That how could this not be a hit in the kids section at Warwick's?
Yeah.
I mean, all the coastal indies, are going to do well with this over time for sure. But Warwick's has a stack of this. It's by Jen Alliston, illustrated by, and it is in stores now. It's a $9.99 paperback with 100 stickers. Okay, so the kids are gonna love that. There's dot to dots, spot the difference, coloring, mazes, and then of course all those stickers. And it's suitable for ages 4 and up. And I just think that the illustrations are charming. Let me get those up for you. I forgot about that. They're really cute and just kind of gives you an idea about what the pages look like.
I used to love those books as a kid. Those were the best things.
Yeah, this is so great. I mean, and you know, sometimes when you're on the way to the beach or you're at the beach, you may need something like this to hand to your child who's getting a little cranky. The stickers are fantastic too. You know, I want some of those stickers. So anyway, that's the beautiful and highly grabbable Seashore Adventure Activity book. It's now on sale. It's a paperback, $9.99, and that's from Button Books, and they're from the UK. They do some great kids books. So
I love that, and that is I love dot to dots. Those were my favorites when I was a kid.
I love that kind of stuff. I just think it's a great little book, and it should do really well at Warwick's.
Yeah. Those are the kind of things I used to get for my kids when we go on an airplane, because it's like it would keep them entertained for, you know, a good portion of the flight.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will end with sharing my screen too, and we're going to talk about events. So we've got lots of good stuff again coming this week. Megan Miranda with Such a Quiet Place tomorrow. This will be our last couch surfing event for a while. Liz and Lisa have gotten a little busy, so and they're working on their next book, so they had to kind of take a break with couch surfing. So that'll be our last one for a while. Robert Monroe is going to talk about Scripps Institute of Oceanography on Wednesday. I think that's going to be super interesting. Can't wait to hear that discussion with him. I didn't mean to click completely on him. Jennifer Dassel will be here with Art Curious. So that's going to be another one. So we got 2 going on Wednesday, one at 4 and one at 5:30. And then Chloe Davis will talk about the Queen's English, the LGBTQIA plus dictionary. So I'm super looking forward to that conversation. And then Amanda brought up something that we're bringing back on August 10th. We used to do Coffee with the Bookseller pre-COVID days. And so we have got we're resurrecting that again. So it'll be the second Tuesday of the month starting August 10th. And who's going to do it, Amanda? Do you know? Is it Gerard, or we don't know who's doing it yet? So it's a mystery which bookseller you'll be having coffee with.
The important thing is there's free coffee and pastries.
Coffee and stuff from Brick and Bell, which is always a hit. So we will still continue to do our tea time recommendation. So that's not going away, but we're just going to bring back, for those of you that are in San Diego and want to come to the store, we're going to bring back our tea time our Coffee with the Bookseller. So we will do that the second Tuesday of the month, starting August 10th. It's at 10 a.m., correct?
Yep.
Is that when that's at? Okay. So with that, everybody, great recs again this week. I appreciate Gabe, Andrea, and Amanda. I appreciate you all coming in with us again. It's always fun to give recs, and to Beth and Sarita and Barbara and all of our regulars out there watching. We love you guys.
Hey, regulars.
Love our regulars. So with that, I'm going to take us off of Facebook and stop the recording. So good night, everybody.